Okay, so everybody good with that?
Yes.
7 in the middle, 8 in the middle, right here, centrals. 7 in the middle, laterals, 8. 7, 8. 7, 8. Then these laterals, 9. Forget the canines for now. So if I was, say, a child was 10 years old, how many teeth should they probably have? Permanent ones, not primaries, permanent ones.
4.
No, because they're preserved.
Don't forget what's happening.
So, yeah.
10.
Perfect, 8. And what are they?
Permanent?
Okay. Yeah, permanent teeth. So not primary and permanent, but just permanent ones. So what do they have at 10? They have, or 9 years old for that matter, they have lower centrals, lower laterals, upper centrals, upper laterals, first molars.
Okay.
The 6s, those are the first ones. So that's the kind of time frames I'm going to make you remember. Not the big details, but the key features.
So they should have
8. Does it make sense which ones I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Okay. Anyway, I think that's pretty much eruption time, permanent teeth, eruptions, centrals 8, lower centrals 7, 8, 9, molars is 6, second molars 12. That's all pretty much as far as time frames. Don't worry about root development, roots finish developing, just many years in there to try to remember. Do you guys remember the difference between a clinical crown and an anatomic crown?
Clinical.
Yeah, what's the definition of a clinical crown?
What you can see outside
How
the
much you
gum.
can see. If the gum line, let's say this patient has gum recession, the gum is down here. Is this the clinical crown?
That's the
No, because by definition, the root is the part covered with cementum. But this is clinical root, isn't it? Because I can see it in the clinic. Okay. The reason we say clinical crown, and the reason it may vary, if the gum line is here, because the tooth is not erupted. This is the clinical crown, because I can see this with my eye. But what's this part that's covered with enamel?
All part of the crown.
What is that called?
anatomical
Anatomic crown. Remember, anatomy doesn't change. Anatomy is anatomy is anatomy. It's, by definition, the part covered by enamel, that's the anatomical crown. That's the part, when you're talking about anatomy, I make you understand it's a crown. Clinical is what you can see. Okay, so in a normal tooth that's got a healthy gum like that right at the CEJ, does it have any clinical root?
No.
No. Does it have anatomic root?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Anatomy says this is the root, the part covered with cementum and not enamel. Okay. You guys clear on that? How many arches do we have, including McDonald's? How many quadrants?
4.
What divides the quadrants?
Midline.
How many sextants?
6.
6 sextants. What defines a line angle?
A line angle.
In plane terms, in geometric terms, what makes a line in space?
2 planes.
Two planes meet.
Mesial and labial.
Good. Yeah, I'm just talking in general, yeah, but you could say like a occlusal and just mesial, occlusal buccal. A line angle is defined by 2 planes. 2 flat surfaces meet, always make a line. What defines a point angle?
4. Wait. 3.
3 planes meet in space. Yeah. Well, square. Who's paid my booze? Oh, okay. Yeah. So a line angle, 2 planes meet. Could be buccal, mesial buccal. Can you have a mesiodistal line angle?
No.
No, because those surfaces never meet. Can you have a buccal lingual line angle?
No.
Can you have a occlusal buccal line angle?
Yeah.
Occlusal lingual, distal lingual, mesial lingual, mesial buccal. Yeah. So how many line angles do we have in a typical tooth? Molar.
8.
8. Same as a box. Okay, and so point angles defined by 3 planes come together. This plane, that makes a point, doesn't it? How many point angles on a typical molar?
4.
4. That's all you're gonna know. I'm gonna hide these tissue boxes so you can't see them. Those little boxes. So don't look at the tissue boxes during the exam, please.
Points though would be the
On the
cut.
honor system. No, it's not a cut. It's different. Because the point, let's say a point angle on a molar might be mesial occlusal buccal. Mesial occlusal buccal. It's going to be the corner, not going to end where the cusp is. It's going to be right where the marginal ridge meets the cusp ridge. It doesn't look like a point. It's called a point angle, but logically, when you look at a tooth, it's not. There's no point there. And to be honest with you, I said, I won't ask you specific name point angles and stuff like that, but you need to know what makes a point angle. Because in reality, in clinic, we don't talk about point angles. If I tell you you left calculus on a point angle, that's not very much calculus, is it? You're doing pretty darn good. But you will leave it on line angles. I have to go back. We have to identify where those are. Okay, any problems with point angles, line angles? What defines the quadrants? What splits the quadrants? The midline. It's kind of weird. The reason I bring that up is because it's a term we haven't used for a while. It was in that very first section, but we haven't really discussed it, so it comes back to haunt you. The difference between permanent and primary teeth. What's the difference in color? More opaque, primary teeth, yeah. Much wider looking. What's the difference in contour between primary teeth and permanent teeth? You know contours? Let's talk about molars. What's the difference in
That cervical buccal.
big cervical buccal ridge? Very prominent on primary teeth. What's the difference in the CEJ contour on permanent primary teeth?
It's
Constricted.
Put your belt on. I think I get one more notch out of that. That's the difference. They're constricted at the CEJ. Anterior teeth, primaries versus permanent. Which ones have mamelons?
Permanent.
Permanent. Do primary teeth have mamelons?
No.
Do they have labial developmental depressions? Do they have pericomata?
No.
Do they have, what's the other thing that they don't have?
The
Imbrications?
Thanks. Imbrication lines. See when I get lost. Do they have imbrication lines?
No.
Do they have cingulums?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Do they have lingual fossa?
Yes.
Yes. Do the posteriors on primary teeth have a root trunk?
Very minimal.
Barely.
Minimal or unidentifiable? We can't say no, but almost no. Almost no. Which is the only anterior tooth, permanent primary, all the anterior teeth, in other words, just canines and forward, which is the only tooth that has wider mesiodistally than incisor-cervical?
In size and
Maxillary,
upper.
what, central?
central.
Central,
Incisor.
which one?
Oh.
Primary or permanent?
Primary.
Primary.
Oh.
No, only the primary. Permanent ones are taller than wide. The only one that's wider than mesodistal than it is incisor-cervically is this primary. Only that baby one is the only one that's like that.
That is wider than it is tall.
Wider mesodistally than it is incisor-cervically.
Yeah.
Do those terms okay with you guys? I mean, I know you want me to say it's wider than it is tall, because that's common language, we understand, but it's wider mesodistally than incisor-cervically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you just say tall, it can include the root, which that's wrong.
Yeah, and we don't like to use words left, right, well, not left, right, but tall, higher, lower, and you guys are gonna do that. Is that tooth lower, or what do you mean lower? See, the reason is if you're talking about an upper tooth and you say higher, it's towards the root. If you talk about a lower tooth and go higher, it's towards the occlusal.
And that was the
Teeth are upside down.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, I don't know which ones are upside down, but they're opposite. So you gotta use directional terms. You can't use higher, lower, back, and front.
That was the central primary, right?
Yeah, primary central. On anterior teeth, if you're looking at a anterior tooth, here's Mickey. We don't have any. Oh, it was previous chapter. Hey, no matter. You guys got good imaginations. If you're looking at an anterior tooth, any anterior tooth, permanent particularly, we're talking about, and you're looking at the lingual surface, what features do you see?
Cingulum,
Cingulum on
Yes.
all anterior teeth?
the
What about the canines?
no, it does.
Don't be swayed.
Mm-mm.
Stick
Yeah.
to your truth. Yes.
All.
All anterior teeth have cingulums. What else do you see on the lingual?
Lingual fossa,
Lingual fossa. What else?
Those,
Yeah, what are those?
ridges,
Marginal
marginal
ridges.
ridges.
Marginal ridges, two. Okay, so we're looking at lingual of the anterior. Canines the same. We see cingulum, we see lingual fossa, we see marginal ridges. What else? What's at the top?
Incisal ridge.
Incisal ridge. Those four things. How about a lingual ridge?
No.
Do you see that on all anteriors?
Mm.
Which anteriors do you see it on?
The.
Yeah. Which ones are more ridgy looking?
Mhm.
More like a ridgeback. Yeah. Canines have a lingual ridge. Canines also have a labial ridge. What directions does labial ridge run?
Incisal vertically.
Incisal vertically or incisal cervically? Yeah. Isabel, you've been saving us all morning. I saved these only for very special moments.
Thank you.
Okay, good. That's, you guys got all that, those details? Not really details, just anatomy, just terms. We're good with that? How many lobes does all anterior teeth have?
4,
4. How many of those are labial or facial lobes?
3,
3. So remember, anterior teeth are kind of weird because you have a one surface, maybe a flat surface, but it's 3 lobes. How can you identify those 3 lobes? There's two ways, things that I should say hint at those lobes. When you're looking at a tooth that might be an incisor, very flat, there's 2 things you look at that identify the definition between the lobes.
The mamelon.
The mamelons, right, the mamelons first, and then the developmental depressions on the facial, the vertical depressions. Both those things. And how many lingual lobes do all anterior teeth have?
1,
1. So 3 facial, 1 lingual. Lingual lobe corresponds to what anatomical feature? Cingulum. Lingual lobe is a cingulum. Looking at an anterior tooth, let's talk about incisor. And I told you I wouldn't talk about geometric shapes, but I will a little bit. Central incisor. What is the shape of the labial? Geometric shape. Remember what geometric shape that is? It's a trapezoid. That's a trapezoid. Proximal. What shape is a proximal? Triangular. Does anybody that can't see the interproximal view of that incisor makes a triangle? Tell me now or forever hold your peace. You don't have to be embarrassed. I'll take
I mean, it's
I'll
big.
take my
There you
Super Bowl
go.
back. That's a real tooth in there, by the way.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, triangular. And the other thing about the proximal view of, let's see,
Central incisor.
yeah, central. Triangle. There was something else about that. I'll probably
I can
find
like
it.
do
But
it all
as long as
at
you get
once.
that, trapezoid, proximal, triangular,
He moved from here to here.
particularly incisor. On the molars, it's a little hard to visualize and talk about molar, geometric shapes at all because, they're so, you get the rhomboids and the pentagons and the double things, which are hexagonal, double, pentagonal, worshiping thing. We got anterior teeth lobes. Let's say we